My friends, good day. Today we're going to talk about negotiation in the professional workplace. But at the same time, what I'm telling you today in principle is also valid in everyday life. It can help you with your partner, it can help you with your friends or others. So before getting to the heart of the matter, I'd like to quickly tell you about the sponsor of this video. It's a product called Candibus. It's a better job. I've tested it myself. I don't recommend anything without testing it. It's a system that lets you upload your resume and then search for jobs and apply automatically. Of course, you shouldn't overuse it. I tried it, and at first I was wondering, what's the performance of this thing? And actually, I was able to find and access job offers by geographic area and by specialty, offers that aren't necessarily published, and apply with just one click. There's a big team behind it that's working and constantly adding new features. And I'll give you a link in the video description and in the pinned comment that will give you a 50% discount. But honestly, it's worth it, and I've tested it myself. So negotiation, when we're face to face, well, there are four options, four possible outcomes that we can statistically reach. So we have the famous win-win, you win and I win, that's the ideal. And we have the famous lose-lose, which happens very often, more than we think. You lose and I lose, we both lose, a kamikaze system, literally. Then there's the lose-win system, I lose, you win, and the win-lose system, I win and you lose. Statistically, there aren't any others. We have four, you see. We're going to talk about them quickly, review them, and explain what the guiding principle behind each one is. First, let's maybe start with the worst one, the lose-lose. You often find yourself in company or among people, situations when you need to negotiate for a client, a contract, a price, a date, or any conditions. You feel that, for example, the client isn't being unreasonable, that what they're asking you is actually something valid. And then when you try to negotiate with your company, they tell you no. So in the end, you have to say no to the client, you lose, the client loses, the client is disappointed, and you won't get your bonus. And on top of that, the company loses money. That happens very often. It's the classic scenario. Let me give you an example. I was in a company and we had a business that was failing, that was having problems selling data storage systems. We had one of our clients, which was the British National Health Service. Sorry for the understatement. It's the largest hospital system in the world. We sold them devices. One of them calls and says a disk has gone pale. I tell them, you send a technician to replace it. And the guy says to me, no, wait for us. We work under a very strict medical protocol. The data is controlled by a certain number of standards. We can't return the disk, even if it's broken, because it holds medical records. I go to management, I try to negotiate because most companies in the area offer options for this kind of client. We usually charge an extra fee and let them destroy the top disk. We take back hard drives, not because we want broken ones, but for another reason. When we return it to Hitachi, Seagate, or Western Digital, they credited and reimbursed us for the faulty disk. So if we can't recover it, we lose money. But it's not a big deal. The client is willing to pay, so I tried to defend his case, which was a legitimate case. It's a normal practice. It's standard practice in the industry. I was told no. I told the client no, and we lost him. I left the company because I realized you can't survive in a lose-lose environment. The company lost that client and was later bought out cheaply by a competitor. Just to tell you, that's how it is. Lose-lose is the worst. Then you have lose-win, where you lose and the other side wins. That's submission, that's giving up. So if you see this pattern repeating often in your professional or personal life, it can happen from time to time. It can happen, that's normal. In a lifetime, it can happen only from time to time. You're in a situation where you have lousy cards, you have someone in front of you who's dominating you. Compared to his cards, I mean, he's going to win, you're going to lose. That's realistic, sometimes that's normal. But if your life is regularly marked by this situation, you need to think, you need to start reflecting. We can chat in other videos if you like. But the thing is, there's a problem. A serious problem is that you're giving up all the time. You show up somewhere, you want to negotiate. They say no, and you submit. You give in right away. You don't know how to turn around and leave when you're told to turn around and leave. You have to really be ready to leave, not just pretend, because you can't just pretend. Look, you want to buy an apartment, you want to make an offer. The guy wants 320, you want to offer 300. So if you refuse 300, then he says no, 320. Okay, all right, 320. You lost. Maybe he was ready to sell at 280. You don't know, but you should have walked away. And you sincerely say, I'll take it for 300. I won't take it. I offer you 300. No, thank you, goodbye. And you really leave and you're ready not to come back. Why not do it for real instead of bluffing? Do it. Sincerely, because sincerity, true and genuine willpower will give off an energy, will give off an aura that people will feel. And we know it's not a bluff. Afterwards, they'll call you, come back, let's talk. We can talk. There's a way to talk. You see, don't give in. Don't be the guy who always gives in. If you see that your life is marked by lose-win, there's a huge problem. There's win-lose, win-lose. If I win, others lose. You probably don't see that often in your life. That's domination. That's the equation of domination. I win. I take everything for myself. You lose. It's bad in the long run. Even if you're able to do it, it has bad energy. It'll come back to bite you later. You're accumulating bad karma. Don't do that, even if you're strong and you're able to get into situations like that, to win over others and make them lose. Give them some space too. Give them space to live, to breathe. Don't crush them completely. Find a compromise with them. Win-win, win-win, that's the best option. It's the most elegant option. It's the most interesting option in the long run for now to maintain relationships so that no one goes home bitter. This one requires a good definition of what do you mean by winning? Very important. No one asks that question. It means believe you've won. Okay, that's essential, but what is the gain? I'll give you an example. I was working with someone and we had to hire a consultant, and the consultant was having a lot of trouble. We wanted to hire this consultant because on paper, he had very strong expertise in a certain specialized field. All right, I was ready to hire him and pay. Problème? He needed several meetings to understand the use case. In the end, I told my partner, I said, no, we're not going. He told me we won and finally understood after several meetings. It was a win. He pulled it off and got it. I said, no, for me, it's not a win. It's a loss, a failure. All right. And then I stopped and said, listen, let's define what you call winning, what I call winning. And that's very important. When you have a conflict or a negotiation deadlock, always stop and check with the others what they mean. Winning, I say for you, winning means that you manage to get it into his head. You manage to make him understand what we want. I said, but for me, that's not a victory. I said, for me, winning would have been someone who understands my use case just like that. When he immediately understands the first sentence, that's my victory. While you see it as a victory that he finally understood, I see it as a failure that it took several meetings to get him to accept it. In the end, the answer was no. For that one, there were a lot of situations like that. Let me give you an example. You're negotiating with a client, you're talking about the principles, let's say you're negotiating a contract, and in front of you, there's a competitor. You tell yourself we're better, you tell him our offer is better, but what makes you say your offer is better? What does better even mean? The word better is vague. Do you know exactly what it means? You can say, yes, we're cheaper, but what makes you think he's looking for something cheaper? I've had clients who preferred pricier options, especially at year end. They still have some budget left and they want to spend as much as possible. They were prepared to spend 150,000 euros, but you offered 80,000. Competitor offers 145,000. They choose them. Ah, yes, he's more expensive, but they'll go with him because they were looking for a higher offer, not a lower one. You see, you assumed, you made an assumption, you lost, you see. So you have to understand what it is, what it means to win, what winning is not. Not me. We want to eat a dish, we want to eat a dish, we can share it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you can eat. We can cut it in half, we can take half and half, half for me, half for you, that's a win. Or maybe you like certain parts of this dish and not others, maybe a fried dish, something like that. Maybe you like the calamari and I don't, so maybe I'll give them to you and I'll take the rest, you see? We both win. Each of us takes what we want, what we like. You know what I mean? That's it. In any case, it's very important to think about this, to reflect on it. This video won't be of any use to you if you don't stop and reflect on what I just told you. You'll reflect on this for days, recalling personal or professional situations where you experienced it. Apply what I said to your own situations. I shared my examples, so use yours to better absorb my message. And then, to get a win on the job market, remember the partner candy boost for the best job. You upload your resume, choose your specialty, the region, the area. It works really well in France, the area, and then the distance. Click and you're good to go. Good luck to those who are looking for a job. Let me know if you get any good responses. See you very soon.